tweaks to be made to your forecast. If you think the cool temperatures that I had last night were bad enough, well, just wait to see where they are now. 24 hours later, tonight, I've got a forecast that does indeed have daytime highs struggling to hit where nighttime lows have been. And also showers and thunderstorms on the increase and to peak overnight and early tomorrow. And then it's one of two cold fronts playing a part in our forecast. Sounds fun, doesn't it? I'll get to your updated forecast in just a few moments. Headlines tonight will also include an update on the fire in Johnson County. We'll speak with a local fire chief about how many gallons of water. It's just astronomical, and they've literally been pouring water on the blaze until just earlier this afternoon. Also an investigation into trying to determine the exact cause of the blaze as well. And an update on a case that will not see a retrial as it pertains to an original life sentence handed down against an alleged drunk driver as it relates to the death of an 11-year-old girl from Martin County several years ago. We'll have all that and other headlines, including the following in what's left of the half hour. In an update from the Martin County Sheriff's Department, it's now believed that the body that was discovered yesterday morning was that of an accident victim. Deputies say that 22-year-old Brad Mead was discovered yesterday morning in a wooded area in Martin County, and it's also believed that he may have died from a self-inflicted, albeit accidental, bow and arrow injury. He was found struck in one of his legs by an arrow, and the death right now is believed to be accidental while it's still under investigation, and Mead's body has been sent to the state medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Also, the Kentucky State Police, Fish and Wildlife are part of the investigation as well, but it is believed to be an accidental death at this time. We also know that earlier today, actually shortly before 9 o'clock this morning, the Kentucky State Police was contacted by the Wolfe County Dispatch in reference to shots fired on Sandy Ridge Road. Kentucky State Police from Post 8 says they responded to the scene on Kentucky 1184 and Kentucky 15 north in Wolfe County, and 53-year-old Blanche Creech of Campton was found in her vehicle suffering from gunshot wounds. Miss Creech was reportedly conscious and alert enough to tell police that 60-year-old Teddy Creech, her husband of Campton, had shot her and then left the scene on a Ford tractor. Miss Creech was found, Mr. Creech was later found and arrested on Walter Creek Road and charged thus far with assault in the first degree and lodged in the Three Forks Detention Center in Lee County. As for Miss Creech, she was airlifted to the University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington. She was last listed in critical condition while the investigation into the shooting is ongoing. Well, definitely one we're going to have to follow up on and learn a little bit more, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to take at least part or all of it in. I do have an announcement left today in the box in the front door. Happens quite often, and this one is quite interesting. It comes from the Story Patch over at the Oscar, of course, that's the old former Oil Springs Elementary School. And the Johnson County Storytellers are putting together a night of live entertainment, and you're invited to come and be a part and see this hilarious, touching live performance by a very mega talented crew. They're debuting the performance of The Reunion at the Story Patch, and this is going to be a great performance, they say, by the Johnson County Storytellers. It's also going to be on September the 11th, 12th, 18th, 19th at 7 p.m., September the 13th and 20th at 3 p.m. for public performance dates. Ticket prices, $8 for adults, 12 and under just $5. Groups also get a discount, and they've got a little dinner theater and Appalachian dessert theater options as well. I'll be talking to someone to tell us more about the Story Patch and their upcoming debut of The Reunion very, very soon. But mark that down if you're interested in seeing a wonderful live performance by those folks. Look forward to finding out more about that. I found out more today about the structure fire that claimed so many Paintsville businesses and so many memories as well. Didn't claim the memories, but certainly the source thereof with the Spare Time Bowling Alley. Today, I specifically spoke to Fire Chief Rick Ratliff, who says they had been busy since the fire began, and just today, as I was there around 2:30, were able to leave the scene. Black smoke was still billowing this afternoon as we approached the 48-hour mark from when the fire first began, around 9 o'clock on Monday night. Paintsville Fire Department Police Chief Rick Ratliff says that the past 24 hours have also consisted of the use and disbursement of a great deal of water.
For the last 24, we've pretty well been putting out hot spots. As it flares back up, we've been putting water on it. We did start our investigation inside the building. We got finished inside the building today. We do know an area of origin. We're still working on a cause of what actually started the fire. And right now we're wrapping up. We're going to leave the scene. We've already released the building back to the property owners, and they'll decide through their insurance companies what goes from here. As far as ownership, I think there's 2 owners in the building, one on the spare time lane, and then the other end of the building is owned by a separate property owner. Their adjusters are supposed to be on their way, so I'm assuming that they are insured.
Chief Ratliff says that his department has been on scene through about 2:30 today is when they officially wrapped up. While I was there, they're hoping not to have to come back. That's after well more than 1 million gallons of water has been doused on the fire and numerous hot spots that have built up since. Initially, they also had mutual aid from Prestonsburg, W.R. Castle, Rock House, Thelma, and other fire departments. He says the Kentucky State Police arson investigator has been on scene today, as well as the ATF, I'm also told, which has been on scene for a brief investigation, and that they're hopeful that they will determine the cause of the blaze. As for the exact spot that he said they had determined, that indeed was upstairs, directly upstairs, over the spare time bowling alley, which is indicated by this video shot by Cody Dudnowski, who tells me that he was first on scene to arrive. And as you can see, the flames have already erupted and are coming from directly over top of the spare time alley. And still, of course, no injuries except for a few minor injuries that were sustained by some of our brave firefighters. The residents, about 8 different families and or tenants which lived in the apartments above, were able to get out. Unfortunately lost all their belongings, or most all of their belongings, but did make it out safely. And at least one of those, of course, was displaced after losing their home from all the flooding in the Flat Gap area back in July. Still no cause, but it is under investigation. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. The case goes back a few years, and it involves the death of a little girl from Martin County, 11-year-old Destiny Brewer, who died as a result of a 2-car collision. The operator of the other vehicle, a Ford F-150 that caused the collision, now has reached a deal with prosecutors. He was originally found guilty and sentenced to life. That conviction overturned, and as he stood to await retrial, has reportedly reached the plea agreement. That agreement between prosecutors and Ross Brandon Sluss, which has averted a retrial that was slated to start Monday. Sluss, who was found guilty in early 2011 of charges of murder, first-degree assault, fourth-degree assault, DUI, second offense, and tampering with physical evidence, was initially sentenced to life in prison, but had his conviction overturned in December by the Kentucky Supreme Court, who ruled that the Martin Circuit Judge, John David Preston, erred when he didn't release a juror because she knew the victim and said that she believed that Destiny's memorial could influence her decision during the trial. The fatal crash happened when Sluss's pickup truck rounded a curve and hit Destiny's grandmother's car head-on the wrong side of the road. Also inside were 2 other children. At the scene, Sluss admitted to smoking marijuana the same day and originally refused toxicology tests. Since Sluss has been free on bond, he was released on a $25,000 cash bond pending the retrial, which once again was set for Monday in Johnson County. But per the plea agreement, it includes amended charges. Instead of murder and other charges, it will be second-degree manslaughter and first-degree assault. He agreed to serve 10 years on each of those 2 charges and to serve them consecutively, one after the other, which means a total sentence of 20 years. Of course, there will also be some time served placed into that equation, while formal sentencing has been set for the 2nd day of October in Johnson County Circuit Court. And not just given her obvious connection, but also her determined and dedicated fight against drunk driving, I think we should make mention that you may not have known it at the time, but one of our contestants in the Miss McGoffin pageant just last week, none other than contestant number 1 and Miss Runner-Up, Cassie Robinson, is the daughter of Blanche Robinson. Blanche, of course, the grandmother driving the car that Destiny and the other 2 little girls were in that day.
You do to educate this community about mothers against drunk driving?
There are a lot of things that we could do to educate the community about mothers against drunk driving. We have social media, which is huge now. We have word of mouth. There's so many different ways that we could spread education. But personally, I think we need to start young. We need to start in these schools, show this younger generation the true, brutal, hard facts. And that is where you will see a difference. That is how we will make a change. Thank you.
For their other headlines in a moment, right now, your McGoffin Farm Bureau sponsored community calendar. A couple I don't have typed in, obviously. The Saggers of First Baptist Church is having Recognition Day Sunday for all first responders. All first responders. That is Sunday morning 11 with lunch to follow at the Saggers of First Baptist Church. And that is for all volunteers. All first responders, remind you, and regardless if it's fire, EMS, police, or otherwise, whether you are paid to wear a uniform or you're a first responder or otherwise, they hope they'll be there for that special recognition. Other announcements I've got, we've already covered the story patch. Look forward to that report. A reminder about the next car show is coming up this Saturday, 4 o'clock. The Licking River Car Cruisers are back at it. Their September cruise-in is this Saturday, 4 o'clock, in the Advanced Auto Parts parking lot. All proceeds and donations going to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Free dash blacks for the first 75. They'll have concessions. They'll have a whole lot of cars. They always do, and they'll have a good time. And you have our calendar to use at your first convenience or whenever you need it. It is free, and this is how you get announcements just like these, and birthdays and anniversaries too, for free on the show anytime. And remember, you can catch programming of Your News Today the following day in case you missed it the first time or just want to see it again on yournewstoday.com. That, I do believe, brings me to, with my apologies, I do have one funeral service announcement just in. Also, I do not have that typed up either. But I am learning of the passing of 87-year-old Ellis Montgomery of Saggersville. Ellis was married to Arzelia Barnett Montgomery, who preceded him in death, and he's survived by sons David, Larry, John, Bobby, and Ricky Montgomery, and daughters Diane Parsons, Wanda Burton, Linda Ball, Kay Allen, Wanda Sue Montgomery, and Vivian Lee Montgomery. Visitation has been set for after 6 tomorrow, all day Friday, and prior to services, they've been set for Saturday at 1 in his honor, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home, and all once again in honor of 87-year-old Ellis Montgomery of Saggersville, who passed away on today's date. We'll be right back following these words. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. A couple which I'm working on and have plans on airing before the week's end. One of those is one that took place in Frankfort, in our state's capital, last week, as it pertains to the McGoffin County Public Library Board's intentions on tearing down the old Saggersville First Baptist Church building to make way for a new library facility. That meeting held at the request and behest, if you will, several individuals, representatives of the Kentucky Department of Libraries, the Kentucky Heritage Commission, Big Sandy Ad Board, our State Senator Brandon Smith, State Representative John Short, McGoffin County Judge Executive Charles Harden, Ronnie Gullett, the McGoffin County Public Library Board Chairman, as well as others. As all those entities were coming together, it's my understanding to offer solutions and options to the Library Board in an effort to keep the church, remodel it, and see that the facility could be built on another parcel of property, which they were hoping to maybe even find funding for. for the library board, is my understanding. Now, I've reached out today to basically all of those representatives, well, almost all those representatives, and I've got a few callbacks and I've got a few more calls to make tomorrow. But we're hoping to find out more about the information that was relayed to the library board and then what they intend to do with that before, once again, the week's end. The other one I'm going to give you a bit of a glimpse into tonight. It's also one we've been working on for a few days, and it goes back to over the course of the weekend, where a Magoffin County man, a Korean War veteran, was officially named an Ambassador of Peace. Flanked with members of his family, fellow veterans, our own Magoffin County chapter of the Disabled American Veterans, they were all present as Melvin Rudd was presented with the award. He was presented as being declared an Ambassador of Peace with the appropriate medal and a letter of commendation. This, of course, following his service in World War II. Rudd was a mortar operator, and he was among some of the very first troops from America to land in Korea with the sole purpose of taking out Russian tanks. And he was also one of the very few survivors that endured the very infamous fight for Hill 303. Many and most of those American mortar operators taken as prisoners of war and executed, tied together and gunned down. Rudd survived. He has told his story before, and that was, I can recall, at least at one Veterans Day event back years ago when I first started this program, and it's also a story that I never forgot. So be sure and stay with us. We'll learn more about the Ambassador of Peace medal. We'll hear from Rudd himself about his service, speak with some fellow veterans and or family, and some video from an actual day, the day that he and a fellow soldier would identify many of those fellow soldiers' bodies as they lied on the grounds of Korea. Stunning images from World War II, and really a stunning story. Just to give you a bit of a teaser, if you will, be sure and catch this report. And once again, I hope to have it ready to air before week's end. Now, to wrap it up this evening, we'll do so with your Licking Valley RACC forecast. And there's something you don't see every day, or you haven't seen in not days, but weeks. I mean, we have literally been at or near 90 degrees every day of this month of September. And we're into our 9th day, and you can even back up a little bit before that. But it's all changing, and it's going to change in large part, well, most part, all a part of two cold fronts that are coming. And then, of course, the effects of one, we're seeing showers and storms moving across much of the viewing area. I don't think there's anyone who gets this show on Howard's Cable or Foothills Communications that's not seen some showers and a few light thunderstorms today. And we'll see some more throughout the remainder of your evening. An evening where temperatures, of course, are already falling. At the 6 o'clock hour, I'm at 74 degrees here at the studio, and I suspect we'll fall down to close to 67. Obviously, showers likely. Not so many thunderstorms, I don't think. Don't be surprised if you don't hear some thunder. Maybe see a little lightning, but for the most part, just some good old-fashioned showers. Now, followed by some patchy fog a little later on tonight. Keep that in mind. And we'll see maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch of additional rainfall throughout the rest of this evening. Tomorrow, those showers are likely, possibly accompanied by a thunderstorm or two. That will follow some patchy fog that will hang around late into your morning because of all this moisture. We're talking like 10 or more than likely close to 11. Otherwise cloudy and cooler, 74 degrees. 60 to 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms means they're likely. The chances will start to decrease as Thursday goes on. By Friday, Football Friday, 81 degrees. That's right, we actually recovered just a bit on your Friday to the tune of 81 degrees. Don't get excited. Another front's coming thereafter. But we will see a 30% chance of some showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 5 o'clock Friday afternoon and evening, and that fog lingering till late Friday morning. Friday night, a low of 60, and then Saturday, look at what this next front does. Yeah, it gives us another chance of some showers and storms, but perhaps more importantly, temperatures down into the 67-degree range. Yes, that's close to nighttime lows here as of late. A low of 52, and if you think that's cool, well, hold on to your britches, as they say. There's Sunday staring at you. Even though we'll see a little sunshine, 65 degrees is the new adjusted daytime high, and a nighttime low that is definitely or comfortably into the 40s, 48 degrees. A slight chance of some showers and storms, only to the tune of about 20%, and that's early Sunday before 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon just looks to be cool and dry. To give you a glimpse thereafter, Monday 72 and sunny. Tuesday of next week, 77 and sunny, and we do see 80 and sunny by midweek with a lot of clear conditions above, but upper 70s, low 80s thereafter. Once again, here we are. That's going to wrap it up for this evening. We've still got a great deal of news to cover, as you heard, before the week's end. Hope to see you back here tomorrow for all of that and more on Your News Today. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.